Pull out the knife you use most, the one that is in your hand every night when you cook dinner. Press your fingernail gently along the edge. If it catches, congratulations, it is sharp. If your nail slides off, that blade is dull. A dull knife is not just annoying, it is dangerous. You press harder. The knife slips. Suddenly, an onion turns into a trip to the emergency room. Now ask yourself, how long have you had that knife? 2 years? 5? And when did you last have it sharpened properly? Most people never have. Not once. They buy a knife block set for $49 at Target. Sharp on day 1. By month 3, struggling. By year 2, sawing through tomatoes instead of slicing them. And they think this is normal. It is not. A dull knife does more than make cooking harder. It changes what you cook. Precision disappears. Pre-chopped vegetables become a habit. Fresh herbs get skipped. The dishes that once made your kitchen smell like home vanish. A sharp knife in a confident hand transforms cooking from a chore into something you want to do. Today, you will see why your knife is failing you, why the industry counts on your ignorance, how a real knife differs from a dressed-up piece of sheet metal, and which 4 brands are truly worth your money. First, the one factor that changes everything, forged versus stamped. It takes 10 seconds to find out which you have. A forged knife begins as a single piece of steel, heated to over 2,000 degrees. Hammered under enormous pressure, the grain aligns, making it stronger and more durable. The bolster, the thick collar where blade meets handle, is part of the same steel. One continuous flow from tip to end. A stamped knife is cut from a steel sheet like a cookie cutter. No heat, no hammering, no grain alignment. The bolster, if it exists, is a separate piece, welded or riveted. The difference matters more than any box spec, more than the brand, more than price, more than country of origin. A forged knife holds its edge longer, resists warping, and stays balanced. A stamped knife dulls faster, can flex, and its handle can loosen over time. Here's the 10-second test. Run your finger where the blade meets the handle. If you feel a seam or 2 pieces of metal, it is stamped. If it flows smoothly, it is forged. Check your knife now. I will wait. Most knives sold in America with German names are not made in Germany. The company founded in Solingen in 1731 now owns 2 brands. Swilling with the Twin-Man logo is made in Germany, forged premium. Henkel's International with a single-man logo is made in China, Thailand, or India, stamped. Names almost identical. Packaging almost identical. Price difference 40%. Quality difference 400%. Walk into any department store. Both lines on the same shelf, sometimes within 3 feet. One says Swilling, one says Henkel's. Shoppers see Henkel's and think it is the famous German brand. They pick the wrong one. By European law, a knife can say made in Germany if the final significant step occurs there. Steel can come from China. The blank can be stamped overseas. If the last sharpening happens in Solingen, it says made in Germany. Legal, common, misleading. Now, the 4 brands worth your money, starting with number 4, Global. Made in Niigata Prefecture, Japan, founded in 1985. Global did something nobody else had done. The blade and handle are one continuous piece of stainless steel. No seams, no rivets, no separate handle that can crack, loosen, or collect bacteria. One flowing piece from tip to end. Every joint in a knife is a weakness. Every seam is a place moisture enters, bacteria hides, connections loosen. Global eliminated all of it. The steel is Chromova 18, chromium, molybdenum, vanadium, 56 to 58 on the Rockwell hardness scale. It holds an edge longer than most German knives. Still easy to sharpen at home. The handle is weighted for perfect balance. Hold it, and it makes sense. The knife sits there, balanced, ready. The G2 8-inch chef's knife is around $120. One warning, Global knives are light, very light. If you're used to heavy German knives, it will feel strange at first. Some love it immediately. Some never adjust. But the engineering is undeniable. One piece of steel that cannot come apart. Number 3, Mac knife, made in Osaka, Japan. Family business since 1964. 3 generations of bladesmiths. Mac follows the Japanese philosophy. Thinner blade, sharper edge, harder steel. They sharpen to 15 degrees per side instead of 20 on German knives. More precision, more control, less effort. Steel hardness, 60 to 61 on the Rockwell scale. Harder than any German knife on this list. The edge lasts longer. You will notice clean cuts long after a German knife drags. Harder steel demands care. No twisting through bone, no prying, no cutting on glass or ceramic. Treat it like a precision instrument. The difference is immediate. Slice a tomato and the blade passes with almost no resistance. The skin does not dimple before breaking. A softer German knife feels the wedge working through. Different tools, different philosophy. Buy the Mac Professional Series MTH80, around $155. This is the knife professional chefs buy with their own money because it eases their work every day. Number 2, Victorinox, made in Ibach, Switzerland, the same company behind the Swiss Army knife. Founded 1884, fourth generation family owned. Here, I break my own rule. Victorinox knives are stamped, not forged, but they are included because professional kitchens actually use them. Go to any culinary school in America, see what students receive on day one. Victorinox. Walk into any restaurant during the dinner rush. Victorinox. America's test kitchen has recommended the same Victorinox chef's knife for almost 30 years. Consistent results. Why does a $40 stamped knife beat a $100 forged knife in professional use? Professionals understand what home cooks miss. A knife is a tool, not a trophy. It must work, easy to sharpen, ready to use. Victorinox steel is softer than Japanese knives. Edge dulls faster than German forged steel, but it sharpens in seconds with a basic honing steel. 2 or 3 passes and it is ready. Fibrox handle is not fancy. NSF certified, meets commercial sanitation standards, no crevices for bacteria, survives dishwashers, stays grippy when wet. These are the points that matter at 6 p.m. when you're tired and dinner still needs to happen. Buy the Fibrox Pro 8-inch chef's knife, $40, sometimes $35 on sale. Ideal for beginners, budget-conscious cooks, or anyone wanting one reliable knife without fuss. Learn to sharpen it, use it. Understand what you need before upgrading. Number 1, W, made in Solingen, Germany. Family owned since 1814, now in the 7th generation of the family. Unlike Henkel's, W never sold out, never moved production overseas, never created a cheap line with a confusingly similar name, never let private equity near the company. Every forged W knife is made in Solingen. It has been for over 200 years and will be for another 200 if the family has any say. Solingen is called the City of Blades. It has been since the Middle Ages. Rivers powered grinding wheels. Local craftsmen developed techniques that spread worldwide. A knife made in Solingen carries centuries of accumulated knowledge. The steel is Excellent 50 CRM-OV with 0.5% carbon, 15% chromium, plus molybdenum and vanadium for strength and corrosion resistance, hardened to 58 on the Rockwell scale. Then ice hardened through the Friedler process, dipping the blade into extremely cold liquid right after forging. The molecules bond closer together, creating harder steel without brittleness. The edge lasts. When it needs sharpening, it comes back cleanly. Every knife undergoes over 40 manufacturing steps, much of it still by hand. Each blade individually tested, each edge inspected. Rejection rates are high, standards are higher. The Classic series has been in production for decades and remains their bestseller worldwide. The design works. Weight is right. Balance is perfect. When something does not need changing, you do not change it. Buy the W Classic 8-inch chef's knife, around $160. This is the only knife most home cooks need, chopping vegetables, slicing meat, mincing garlic, crushing ginger. It will still perform when you hand it to your grandchildren. Before buying anything, test your knife now. Bolster test. Run your finger where blade meets handle. Feel a seam, 2 separate pieces. If anything interrupts smooth, continuous flow, it is stamped. Forged knives flow. Flex test. Hold the handle firmly. Press tip against cutting board at a slight angle. Apply gentle pressure. A thin stamped knife flexes visibly. A forged knife does not move. Weight test. An 8-inch forged chef's knife should weigh 7 to 9 ounces. Stamped often less than 6 ounces. Pick it up. Does it feel substantial? Logo test. Look at the logo. 2 stick figures mean Swilling, made in Germany, forged. 1 stick figure means international, made elsewhere, stamped. Fail any test? You have been using a knife meant to be replaced, not to last. The math the industry prays you never do. A typical chef's knife from a box set costs about $10. Edge dulls in weeks, handle loosens in months. Replace every 2 to 3 years, roughly $4 to $5 per knife per year, while fighting your food constantly. A W Classic costs $160. With proper care, honing before use, and professional sharpening once or twice a year, it will last 30 years minimum, often 50. That is $5.33 per year for a knife that makes every meal easier. A Victorinox Fibrox Pro costs $40. Lasts 15 years with regular sharpening. $2.67 per year, less than a cup of coffee for a professional grade knife used in restaurants nationwide. The cheap knife costs more per year than the expensive one. The budget professional knife costs less than coffee. Both outperform what you are probably using right now. Your grandmother did not have a drawer full of dull blades. She had 1 good knife, maybe 2. She kept them sharp, kept them for decades, handed them down. Somewhere along the way, we bought the knife block, the 12-piece set, believing more knives equal a better kitchen. Not true. 1 good knife beats 12 mediocre ones. Every time, every meal, every cut. Go check your knife. Run the fingernail test on the edge. Run the bolster test where blade meets handle. Then reflect. What knife are you using? What brand? How long have you had it? And if your grandmother's knife is still in the drawer, remember its story. That knife is worth hearing.